Am I wearing a onesie right now? Yes. Do I think that both you and I should actually just refer to it as a jumpsuit so that I seem more professional? Also, yes. So I'm really glad that we agree on that. Moving on. Have you ever wanted something so badly you couldn't escape it, even in the absence of consciousness? Actually, to be more realistic, have you ever just dreamt that a manatee was telling you what to pick up from the grocery store? No? Well, okay, fuck me then, I guess. Hi, you've probably never seen my face before, unless of course you are one of my friends who I am forcing to watch this video. So I'm Gabriella, and this is a series I call Dumbed Down Discussions, where I get to explain things that both interest and confuse me to a void that does not care if I live or die. Zoinks. Lot to process. Maybe if you're part of the void that does care, give this video a like and subscribe. It would really mean a lot. Alright, now that we've gotten the begging out of the way, on to today's topic. Dreams. And no, I'm not talking about the ones who promise to donate all Twitch stream proceeds for 1 month to then not even stream once during that month. No, I am talking about the hallucinations that plague your sleeping mind. What the fuck are they? Do they mean anything? Why can I never escape this mental prison? One time when I was in college, before I, dropped out, I had a dream that a guy I didn't even like rejected me in front of a party bus filled with people who then started to point and laugh at me like a shitty 80s movie. Why does my brain simulate shame? Do we not get enough of that while awake? We're looking for more. Anyways, why do we dream? Why do we not dream? What affects our dreams? Is it these damn phones? Do our dreams mean anything? Why did the sleep paralysis demon in the bedroom corner start to look more and more fuckable the longer quarantine went on? Just me again? Oh my god. That's what I thought. I'm just desperate. Yeah, no, alright. Let's start with some background. The study of dreaming on a technical level is called Oneirology. Study of dreaming on a technical level is called oneirology, as opposed to dream interpretation, which is more just trying to dissect the meaning of dreams. And we'll get into that later. Dreams occur during sleep. Your body's time to relax, rejuvenate, and a reset. That's it. End of video. Thank you so much for watching. There are different stages of your sleep cycle from a brain activity standpoint. You've got REM and NREM, rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement, which is basically what it sounds like. Rapid eye movement, your eyes are moving around. They're bumping to the beat. Your eyelids are fluttering. Think the clubbing jellyfish from that episode of SpongeBob. But otherwise, your body's basically paralyzed everything else, because that's when most dreams occur, and your body's trying to make sure that you don't actually act out falling off of a cliff. This is why sleepwalking actually doesn't take place during REM, which is considered the dreaming state, and is actually in a partial wakefulness from a deep sleep. Non-REM sleep is basically just everything else, from deep sleep to that weird limbo where you know you're not asleep yet, but you are certainly not awake. You don't do too much dreaming in these stages, and if you do, they'll usually be pretty foggy and unmemorable because of the low brain activity. These are the stages that are mostly associated with body upkeep, regrowing muscle tissue, attempting to re-heal that scab that you picked at, giving you a new pimple, the really fun stuff. It also seems that every mammal experiences REM at different levels, meaning everybody's got a dream, but it depends on how intense. Humans seem to fall in the middle of the spectrum, while dolphins experience minimal REM, super logical, very, very type A. As opposed to armadillos and possums, who are thought to be some of the most intense dreamers. Gotta love those marsupials with their heads in the clouds. No wonder Remy was such an ambitious little chef. He had big dreams to take over Paris. That's so cute. Dreams may seem like a rare occurrence to some, but they actually happen every night, an average of 5 to 7 times, as you continuously re-enter the REM stages of your sleep cycle. Individual dreams can last anywhere from a few seconds to 30 minutes, and throughout the night, dreams tend to get clearer and longer, each one kind of acting like a warm-up for the next one. Which is why you only tend to remember the last one, because it's both the freshest in your memory and the clearest out of the litter. And because your brain has had ample time to just get into character, they're most likely to be the most bizarre and furthest from reality, also making them easier to recall. Another aspect of remembering dreams is what stage of the sleep cycle you wake up during. People are much more likely to remember their dreams if they wake up during the REM stage, which is why you'll probably remember dreams much easier if you wake up on your own will without any outside disturbance. The two dreaming categories that it seems to easily split into is illusory and authentic. Illusory is the bizarre shit. The kind that has no basis in reality and may as well be a novel completely written in gibberish. It's like if you were to bring up the iPhone predictive text and just type the and then just go with it. The one where, while it was never mentioned or touched on, you know in context that you are related to a frog. You don't know his name, but he is your uncle. And what's worse is that no one even mentions it. You just have that in the back of your mind. Not like I'm speaking from experience. Authentic is based in reality and reflects something that may have already happened or has a real possibility of happening. And as much as it hurts to use this as an example, the party bus one seems to check that box. Okay, so why are we dreaming? And to put it lightly, this question has the girls fighting. Let's start with the scientists. What are they hypothesizing? One idea is that they act as a process of solidifying new memories and reinforcing older ones. And those bizarre memories, bizarre dreams, not memories, are errors that your brain has made in the process of that. Pretty big errors, if you ask me. Your brain did not understand the assignment. Yes, Billy made a small error, and instead of presenting his science project, he just projected a home video of him trying to bite into an uncut watermelon. Can you imagine if you fucked up an assignment that bad? My goodness. My brain really said D's get degrees when it comes to reinforcing memories. A different theory is that because none of the typical auditory and visual processing functions are active during REM sleep, that your brain is kind of running on fumes, making the most activity it can from diddly squat. That they mean nothing and accomplish nothing, which is a total stick in the mud theory, so I hate it because where is the intrigue, you know? Like, scientists are never thinking about me and how this storytelling will affect things for me and the way that I romanticize my life. They should think about that next time. Another is that it's a form of therapy where your brain processes emotions because the logical functioning parts are way less engaged than usual. So the feelings are in the driver's seat, testing out some theories and making some connections. Ever had a dream you were getting it on with someone you have no interest in? Maybe that was your brain making sure there wasn't something there. Exhausting all options, if you will, because you're not doing it. There's also a theory that dreams act as a sort of fight or flight simulation training. Your amygdala, the fright and anxiety hub of the brain, seems to light up quite a lot while dreaming, like even more than it does day to day. This suggests that because it's more active during REM than average waking life, it might be your brain's dress rehearsal for a threat. Like that argument you've planned in the shower that you're just chomping at the bit for someone to bring up and start. So those are some of the most prevalent scientific conclusions, but what are the philosophical sad boys proposing? What are the more dramatic renditions, the religious girlies, cultural theories, the fun stuff? Now, of course, some of the philosophers have to be annoying and ask questions like, well, how do we know what is a dream and what is reality? How can we really be sure that it's not the reverse of what we think? How can we be sure that our reality isn't just a perpetual dream? Which I respond with, for the love of God, shut up. Go touch some grass, sport, maybe have a nice cup of tea, and don't speak for a little while. Let the grown-ups talk. But some of their theories have come to some more interesting conclusions than the dickish posed questions that I just referred to. Before we get to the philosophers that are closer to modern day, why don't we get into the origins of philosophy? We gotta check in with the ancient Greeks. The Greeks believed in dreams as a form of healing through divine intervention. It was common practice to sleep in a temple for days awaiting a dream from one of the gods to deliver a cure to you for whatever you're asking for. And a lot of times there'd be a large stone slab where they could just jot down some notes for the future besties with the same ailment. It was like the original Mayo Clinic, which is so fun for them. This was also similar to practices in Babylon and Egypt. One of the Greeks, however, had an objection. A very underground philosopher that I'm sure you've never heard of named Aristotle theorized, correctly if I may add, that functions of logic and physical senses are far reduced in dreaming, which he said made it a time for emotions to hit the stage and communicate and thrive. Naturally, the religious healers weren't big fans of this one because he was kind of just pissing on their careers. Not very girl boss of him. In Norse mythology, they saw dreams as a foretelling of the future, which had to do with their idea of fate as this unchangeable force that has been weaved far before it happens. They even believed that the gods dreamed, meaning nobody was too strong for a sucker punch from fate. Fate is an equal opportunity distributor of beatdowns. Speaking of the divine, there are many religious meanings assigned to dreaming, usually a way that the divine communicate with the normies. The Abrahamic religions, which are the big three, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, typically see dreams as messages from God that should be interpreted as either like a what's up message or a, how do I say this? A non-optional suggestion. While nightmares are actually the work of evil spirits. Islam has more specific subcategories for this: the true dream, the false dream, and the meaningless everyday dream. The true dream means congrats, God is calling, and you better pick up now. Voicemail is not an option. You have a job to do. The false dream is a wolf in sheep's clothing, not to be trusted, reeking of bad intentions from malicious spirits. And the meaningless everyday dream is just that. Pretty sure God's not telling you to order pancakes at brunch, but I'm not a prophet, so grain of salt. But of course, once the Middle Ages hit Europe like a Mack truck, Catholicism had to be not like the other girls and come to the conclusion that all dreams, yes, all of them, are a work of the devil, trying to tempt you all the way to hell. They thought sleep was the time you were most vulnerable and demons were just frothing at the mouth to possess you. Something natural with the capacity to be enjoyable. It's a sin, so jot that down. The other branches of Christianity did try to duke this out with them because a lot of saints and important figures in the Bible were said to be very influenced by their dreams that were delivered from God, which actually shaped their faith. The besties were bickering. If only God would have come to them in a dream. Or the devil, depending on, if you're a Catholic or a non-Catholic Christian. This is very different from both Hinduism and Buddhism that both have very lovely ideas of dreaming. In Hinduism, it's seen as one of the 3 common states of consciousness for your soul to be in, along with being awake and being in a dreamless sleep. There are certain images that are assigned specific meanings when they occur, and there are all sorts of interpretations about their meanings or lack of. Even that dreams during pregnancy can help you figure out the sex of the child. So fun, not all of that you're going to hell bullshit that Catholicism was on. Can we not just have fun? From what I've read in Buddhism, life is seen as kind of a mirage, appearing in and out of different illusions until your true awakening, which is when you fully understand everything. And dreams are supposedly a sliver of that, also to be interpreted with attention to kind of the world around you and what it might be trying to communicate as it changes and shifts. Some tribes and civilizations across the Americas have believed dreams are a way for ancestors to visit and speak with them. This is also similar in a lot of ancient African mythology as well, citing that different dimensions are coexisting all at the same time. And dreaming is a sort of travel through them, where ancestors are able to communicate messages to them that wise, appointed members of the tribe can make sense of. Many Native American tribes have also been known to use a form of guided dreaming known as vision quests. Obviously, the details vary depending on the tribe and the time period, but it's usually a ritual of fasting and prayer, along with some other recreational activities, sometimes for a number of days in search of a message for either just themselves or for the tribe as a whole. Not a lot of people were into questioning theories about religious interpretations of dreams because they probably didn't want to be accused of witchcraft. And when I do say religious, I am mainly talking about Christianity because of the chokehold that she has on everybody with the threat to cry witch. But that's where the original motherfucker comes in. And yes, I mean that term very literally. Good old bestie Sigmund Freud had a controversial opinion of why people dream. In his incredibly humble opinion, every single dream is communicating a deep desire that you, yes, you have. All of them. And although the dream itself might not be exactly what you want, It is somehow communicating what you want. That always dates back to childhood experiences. It's like reading a book in English class. No, the curtains can't just be blue. It has to mean something, people. The apple on the kitchen table isn't merely a fruit. It's the manifestation of your desire to get raw-dogged by Edward Cullen. And in Freud's eyes, this dream is trying to give your brain the pleasure of experiencing it and scratching that itch. And because he is unapologetically himself, he believed that this was usually of a sexual nature. Real shocker from the man who admitted his desire to fuck his own mother without a gun pointed to his head. Several times! Like, what the fuck, sir? Now, some of the scientific besties do agree with this in a few cases, because as I said, when you dream, you're not shackled to the constraints of reality with logic, the fun ruiner. But I would say that very, very few of them, if any, agree with the all of them part, because of how often we dream. Plus, how many fucking falling dreams do I have per month? Surely I don't desire to fall from a cliff that desperately, okay? But then again, how can I be sure? I don't have a PhD unless you're talking about the one that I awarded myself once I completed a Breath of the Wild puzzle without having to Google it. That one's for the gamers. I have to keep them interested somehow, and I am not showing my tits, so here we are. However, this theory did fall a little flat once he observed a case in which a dude's bed frame fell on the back of his neck, and while that was happening, he dreamt of being guillotined to death. And it's pretty hard to chalk that one up to coincidence, Freud. Like, oh, he just so happened to express his desire to be chopped like a Thanksgiving turkey the moment he coincidentally had stimulation on the back of his neck. Nothing to see here, people. My theory still stands. Another philosophy bigwig named Carl Jung was influenced by Sigmund Freud, but didn't share his exact theories of dreaming. He kind of added his own spin. Jung believed that dreams serve to exercise aspects of our personalities that don't get enough attention while awake. Scratching an itch, but more of a behavioral itch. Not necessarily that you want to do it, just that you've been suppressing it for a little bit. Hiding a deep, dark part of yourself that not even those closest to you can find out about? No worries, you can release all that tension with the help of your dream world. And what I have to say to that is, haven't they tried maladaptive daydreaming like the rest of us? Grow up. So, now that we've talked about some of the most common theories about dreaming, let's talk about some of the most common dreams. Psychologists and scientists have pretty much admitted that there's no way to truly know what these mean, or if they even mean anything. Just like the whole meaning of life nonsense. I don't presume to know, and frankly, it sounds boring anyway. Plus, I don't like being told what to do, and getting assigned a greater purpose sounds a little pushy, so I'll pass. First up, your brain's favorite way to simulate a full-blown heart attack. Falling from a cliff, your window, off your bed, tripping on the sidewalk, off the Empire State Building. If you're hurtling towards the ground, if you are a projectile, I'm gonna count it. Some interpretations of this are you're feeling a little unstable, maybe a bit insecure, maybe you're holding on too tight to something that no longer serves you. Maybe you're overwhelmed or just plain old anxious. And yes, I did talk about frequently having those dreams earlier in this video, but I don't mean to flex on the dream interpreters when I say that I could have told them that I'm a little anxious. Okay? Pathetic. Our next contender, teeth falling out. There are a few rivaling theories for this one being teeth as a symbol of power and confidence, and them falling out is said to maybe mean the dreamer has taken a bit of a hit to the good old self-esteem. Another theory is that it's a bad omen that represents a broken relationship. Don't know where that came from, but it's even a little bit more based in reality than the last one. Women having this dream want to get pregnant, and men having this dream want to fuck. If you're non-binary and have this dream, feel free to assign your own meaning to it. A fun DIY project for the NB friends. But I've never had this type of dream, so good luck with the pregnancies, everyone. I expect an invitation to the baby showers. Another popular one is showing up in a public place with no clothes on, whether it be school or work, your in-laws' house, maybe the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. The experts seem to agree that if you're gonna assign meaning to this one, it's probably stress due to some form of vulnerability. Maybe you got a promotion. Congratulations from your brain. Here's a traumatic nightmare. Being chased. Now, this explanation does have me scratching my head a little bit. Some dream interpreters seem to think that this dream is a good sign to finally face a problem head on that the person may have been procrastinating. But when the dream interpreter in question mentioned that it's more common in her clients who are women than men, I can't help but think of that whole theory that your brain is rehearsing for an encounter that's possible to happen while you're awake. Women are very conscious of the reality that they may be chased or harassed while out, so maybe it's less about facing a problem head on and more about being justifiably afraid. But just a thought, just a note. Those are a few, and obviously there are a lot more, but I'm not a dream interpreter. I don't even know what they're called. I'm not a dream interpreter, clearly, so those are the ones I'm covering. The contents of dreams are a funny thing because while they've been studied extensively, there is next to nothing that we know about them for a fact. Especially when you consider that in previous studies, people said that their dreams were very different from usual when they were being studied in a lab, because presumably their mind is very aware of the microscope that it's going to be under the moment that the dream is over. This led to people having a lot less sexual dreams, a lot less nightmares, and a lot more super boring and mundane dreams. Your brain is on its best behavior. It's like when you bring your laptop to an IT person and all of a sudden, not only does it work perfectly, it can actually now do a backflip. So this really highlights that we know a lot about the mechanics of dreaming, the areas of your brain engaged, the stage of your sleep that they occur at, but we literally know nothing about their actual purpose. And I think it'll be a while, if ever, that we figure it out. So get comfortable with not knowing jack shit, and let me know if you have any theories, because whatever you say has basically the same amount of credibility and proof as what scientists and interpreters are saying. Isn't that fun? Equal playing field, you know? Well, that's that on that. This has been Dumbed Down Discussions, where I basically just told you that we know nothing about this topic for however many minutes I've been flapping my gums. But I hope it was enjoyable for you, because I had a lot of fun. If you'd be so kind as to like and subscribe, I would love to have you. And thanks for spending a chunk of your day with me. I really appreciate it. And remember, if your teeth fall out in a dream, it's clearly because you want to give birth right now. Did I stutter? Chop chop! And the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. So put on some Marvin Gaye and get to procreating, because class is dismissed. Go get it on, besties. I believe in you.